Millbrook is an international vehicle testing and validation service with customers from across the automotive, transport, tyre, petrochemical and defence industries. It has a range of test facilities for full vehicles, tyres and components located in the UK, the USA and Northern Finland. In the UK, Millbrook operates from a proving ground in Bedfordshire, where it has 70 kilometres of varied test tracks. It also has a test facility in Leyland which focuses on commercial and heavy-duty vehicle testing. Its professional drivers and engineers perform repeatable tests on all types of vehicles in a secure and safe environment. However, the coronavirus pandemic and subsequent international response means that changes have had to be made to the way that Millbrook operates.
We're a very big site, so we've got 700 acres, that's 3 million square metres, so social distancing there is not a problem. You can fit a couple of people with at least 2 metre gap between them. However, certain departments, the tracks being one of them, did suffer a downfall in customer use when the lockdown started. That's when everyone was really trying to find their feet and really understand what measures the organisations had to take to make sure their staff were safe.
Initially, it looked like there was going to be quite a big change and quite a big shift for how we were going to work, but the teams were ready and prepared to change our processes and procedures to make sure that we could continue throughout this current situation.
The first obvious consideration was the health and safety of our staff and our customers. That was paramount. From that point, then it was, okay, how do we keep operating while maintaining that safety? And it was looking at some of the technology and some of the systems we've got in place, looking what could be adapted and lessons learned from different areas of the business.
We had a good solid team before we dispersed, so I think that helps a lot with a virtual team, is having a good relationship anyway. So we chat each morning, we chat each night, and a lot of what we're doing is essentially putting out the message to customers that we're still open, we're still testing. It's just that some of us can't be there for different reasons.
With testing continuing, the Millbrook team have maintained operations. When the virus hit, just how quickly did they have to respond?
So we realised quite early that we couldn't get somebody using our simulator room because the operators were in the same room as the simulator. So it was just an impossibility until you start thinking a little bit sideways and you think, well, wait a minute, why don't we just move the control system? But we can't move the whole computer rack or anything like that. So why don't we look at a remote desktop type applications and see if we can stream it across the network? That way you keep the user of the simulator separated physically, but you can still talk over a voice and video link and control what you need to do.
There's always been initiatives to reduce the number of emails, to reduce the number of meetings, all that sort of thing. I think what we've learned is to actually exploit the technology better. It's forced us to be a bit more formal about managing jobs lists. It's very easy when you're face-to-face just to pass on information, but when you're not there, it's more difficult to make sure that people are working on the right things, they've got good visibility of everything. It'll be interesting to see how much of that we carry forward when we're back face-to-face, but certainly the methodology we've developed, I think, shouldn't change. We should continue with that and continue the gains we've made.
So for Millbrook staff, it's completely changed the way we work. There's a huge number of staff, myself included, that spend a lot of time at home working away as efficiently, if not more efficiently, than we have done.
With the team set up for remote operations, business can continue. However, working from home is not possible for all staff.
We're a testing facility and there is some circumstances where we do need 2 people in vehicles.
We knew we had to put in a load of new processes in order to keep the drivers safe while they're out there operating on a 24/7 basis. We have 3 different drivers, if not more, going into the vehicles during one day. So we had to put a number of processes in, like disinfecting the vehicles in between shifts, making sure the drivers are completely following the rules and the guidelines by washing their hands, putting everything in to keep them safe and keep the vehicles running as best we can.
The big thing for me was getting the remote access. As you can probably imagine, we have a test site, and each individual chamber has its own IT systems. So before the remote thing came into operation, we would physically get up and go to a different workstation, if you like, to do it. Now, we don't. We can just sit at one station and dial into the other ones, even though they might only be 6 feet away.
We've pretty much managed to keep things going. Things have been more challenging, so I'd say the effort has gone up, but actually the productivity hasn't hasn't really changed, hasn't diminished. A lot of the customers were sending cars to us or sending test pieces to us for us to do the work ourselves.
Important aspect was how we could still engage with customers and make sure that customers were still aware and connected to what we were doing and had the ability to witness the test work as if they were on site. We've seen a lot of benefits from not just the remote witnessing, but also how teams have had to communicate. I've got a great team here with the engineers and the operational team. We've had to come up with new ways of communicating and new ways of sharing information, and that's been great. The fact that customers can dial in and see what's happening in the test cells means we can do exactly the same thing. So I can see more development from that side.
It's been a very tough time, and obviously a tough time for a lot of our customers in the automotive industry. But yeah, we have found a few positives to come out of it, and we're going to take those forward once this is all over.
I've already noticed a downwards trend in our health and safety accident statistics. So the fact that people seem to be actually getting safer during the health crisis is definitely a bonus from my aspect. So hopefully that trend continues and everyone continues to stay healthy and safe going forward.
We're ramping up on-site operations. I think me personally, because of my role, I can do more from home than a lot of people. Certainly until all the restrictions are lifted, we're going to keep with as much remote working as we can. And then going forward, the general company feeling has been that they're going to try and encourage a little bit of remote working where possible to aid work-life balance and things like that.
Away from the pandemic, there is something big to celebrate for Millbrook. It's their 50th birthday, and they have big plans for the future.
We're building a facility called VTEC 2. So it's a large climatic chamber, large chassis dynamometer for testing heavy goods vehicles. So that's a big, exciting project for us. A lot of investment, working with some very important suppliers for us, hoping to support the UK heavy industry.
As Millbrook, we're in a really, really good position to be able to serve the customers really, really well. And a team that's had a chance to reflect on what we do and update things and modernise things and just improve everything, really.